What's up, you guys? Welcome back to Big Bike BMX. My name is Isaac, and today we're going to talk about how to get comfortable doing wheelies on a 29-inch BMX bike. So BMX bikes are easy to wheelie. We've been doing it since we were kids. The 29 seems to be one of the most popular sizes of BMX bikes available today. If you just got a big BMX bike and you used to ride wheelies or you see people doing it, probably the first thing you're going to try to do is pull up, see what it's like. We're going to talk about all the ways that you can prep yourself, get familiar with the balance point, why the 29-inch BMX bike is easier to wheelie than most, and we'll just talk about a couple things you can do for safety and prep, things like that. So let's get into it. We're going to cover safety equipment, bike setup, drills, and then how to actually do it when you're out on the street. So there's a couple things we'll cover. So it picks up towards the end. If you just want to skip to that, go right ahead. But please understand, I'm going to show you some safety equipment and then how to set your bike up to make a lot of those future steps easier now. So let's go. First and foremost, get you a rider bag. This is a unique safety feature that a lot of people just don't know about when they see us wearing these bags. They're very reflective and easy to see at night, which is why like a lot of us wear them. But what you don't know is down here they have an optional, I'll unzip this. Here is a wheelie pad. This is a spine protector that goes up the entire, it's hard plastic or it's hard foam, but it goes all the way up the inside of the backpack. So if I fall backwards onto my back, I have padding along the outside. My rib cage or my spinal cord would be right down in here. So this goes against your ribs. And then it has that hard plastic in there to protect you from just hitting straight to the concrete. So this is a great safety feature in a bag that is also lets you carry your tubes and tires and things from rider bags. So this is something you see me wear a lot. The other basics, gloves. You're gonna be pulling up on your grips a lot. You will get some calluses and then you will rip your skin up when you're practicing at first. Get some gloves. It'll save you some time. You'll be able to practice longer because you're not ripping the skin off your hands. Second or third, a helmet. Get yourself a helmet. Wear a helmet. This is the last thing I'll tell you. Find yourself a helmet that's comfortable. I like the S1s, but any helmet will work depending on how hot it is outside. But grab yourself a helmet because you are on a wheelie. You are about 6 feet off the ground and you are on a rotating pivotal point that will whip you into the ground faster than you realize. You are looping backwards and it's very easy to crack your head open, crack your skull. I've seen it. It's not just something where I'm using hyperbole to go, you're going to crack your skull. No, dude, you will crack your skull. So wear a helmet because none of us know what is going to happen when we're out there. So be safe, but this is just for educational purposes and only for all the lawyers out there. So here you go, helmet. Now, I'm going to talk about some bike maintenance. My 26-inch bike has cable disc or cable pull brakes. The thing I want you to do is make sure that your entire brake pad is lined up with your wheel. Sometimes they can get loose, so make sure that it's tight. Sometimes these loosen up, but make sure that the entire pad is on the surface of your brake. These are Cool Stops. They just came out with these about 2 years ago, the AT pads. They are specifically designed for 26 and 29-inch hoops versus a 20-inch, so they fit the wheel, the diameter a lot better. So grab yourself some Cool Stop AT pads. Those are the ones you want to look at. Now, most current or modern 29s are switching out of the outdated V-brakes and they're going to a disc brake. So Cool Stop has disc brake pads. Go ahead and grab yourself some new pads. Just make sure that your pads are in order before you go and start riding and practicing your wheelies. The other things that I do for my bikes, I raise my seat up. I think I have about a fist and an inch or so, fist and 2 inch. So that's where I run my seat. I do run the horn of the seat forward and down because when I'm up in a wheelie, it's more straight and it's easier to go longer distances in a wheelie with my seat tilted down. My gearing, I run a 36-16, 36 in front, 16 in the back. It makes it a little bit harder for long distances. I do tend to kind of hamster wheel out if it's going fast on a long ride. But for me, it's better because I prefer just to slow down and chill and cruise. I'm not trying to get to anywhere super fast, so I like a lower gearing for me. But that's just the way I ride. So let's go out and talk about some drills. This will be fun. All right, fam, let's talk about some of the challenges to learning wheelies on a 29-inch bike. First and foremost, this is a 4130 chromoly frame, so it's a little bit heavier. So if you have a chromoly frame, it's a little bit heavier on a 29 to pull up and get to that balance point. The bigger wheels make that a challenge. The bigger wheels also make it easier to flip backwards and loop out. So those are the biggest challenges when coming to wheelies on a 29. It's just the weight and the momentum to get the bike up is a little bit more of a challenging on the curve versus say a 24 or 26. And then yeah, just the bigger wheels make it easier to loop out. But also, it's also, to me, it's a pro because you have more of a balance point on a 29er than you do on say a 24, a 26, and then a 29 has a real wide and forgiving balance point. So that's the biggest challenges are going to be the bigger size, the heavier bike, harder to get up, and then it's easier to loop out. So as long as you mitigate those problems with a good brake, make sure your brakes are good, you understand how to modulate and feather your brake, the looping out won't be a problem. And then the second thing is just going to be the size and the weight of the 29. You just have to get used to pulling up on it. And just trust me, if you're an older rider, you can wheelie this, because I've seen 13-year-olds that are this tall that can wheelie these 29s that aren't as strong as you are. So it's just getting practice, getting used to it. But hopefully these tips will help you out. But those are the biggest challenges that happen when you're looking at learning to ride wheelies on the 29. The basics to the wheelie is really just understanding what the balance point is on your individual bike. And the easiest way to do that is just through a quick and simple drill where I will turn sideways here. It is a difference to get the wheel from riding up into a wheelie. You press down on your strongest foot, whether it's your right or your left. For me, it's my right foot. And then you pull up with your arms while you press down on the bike, which will pull the wheel up. The trick is to know how high your balance point is. My bike right here is a balance point. I can float, I can sit. If I press down on the pedal, you'll see the bike goes forward, pops up. If I let back, it goes down. This is the natural balance point. This is what we're trying to learn while we're learning a wheelie on a big bike. Where is my balance point? This is the easiest way to figure it out. Keep one foot on the ground, put your other foot up, balance the bike, get a feel for what this looks like. Look at the horizon, feel where your arms are. This is the key. So do this drill a lot. Get comfortable with where your bike naturally balances. If you do this over and over, you will learn, your brain will figure out how high to go. So that is the easiest way to do it. Easy, easy, easy. The second thing is going to be getting the bike up to where you can balance and just float instead of just pedaling. This is a technique that I think is the safest and most fundamental building way to learn a wheelie, is just get up and float. We'll show you how to do that. Most people, when you do a wheelie, when you pull up, you don't fully commit. I'll show you what that looks like here in a second, but that's the easiest way. Pull up, balance, that's where the wheelie is. This is what I'm talking about. When I tell you the biggest thing I see is people not commit. They know that they have to pull up and press down at the same time, but they don't follow through with this leg. So it looks like this. They will pull, but they don't get high enough, and they don't pull through here. So it's all going to be pull up while you're pressing down, and you want to get to that balance point. Pull up until you can float. Now, that goes against a lot of traditional, the way I learned was pull up, keep pedaling, but you do run into some more frustration when you do that because it takes a while to figure out how high to get. So typically what happens if you just pull up, you don't get familiar with that float point, you'll see people that are riding a wheelie and they have to go faster and faster and faster to keep maintaining that wheelie. It's because your front wheel isn't high enough. So you're pedaling, you're almost there, you're at a pseudo balance, but you're not at the float. So people will stay there thinking they have a really great wheelie, but then they ask me like, hey, how come I have to pedal so fast? Or I just keep going faster, or I prefer to wheelie going up a hill. It's because your front wheel is on the verge of falling down. So just go a little bit higher. How do you learn that? By pulling up and floating. So again, my suggestion, we're gonna pull up and just learn where that float is. Do it one more time. I'm pulling up and just float, because it's easier to get your feet off when you're going that fast. You're slow, you're going at a slow pace, and if something goes bad, you can just pull your feet off, throw your bike, and walk away. So it'll look like this. If something goes wrong, you just step right off the back. If you are going down the street at a good pace, it's harder to jump off the back. So get familiar with that float. Pull up, float, use your brake to feather, and then you'll drop back down. But just get familiar with that. Go out front of your house, pull up, see how far you can float, get familiar, and then start working on the pedaling while you're riding. Let's go do that. Now you're comfortable with floating, let's go out onto the main street and let's take that progressive from this to floating to riding a wheelie down the street. Let's go. All right, so you've got your safety equipment, you got your helmet, you got your gloves, you got your backpack with a pillow. You're comfortable with where you got the basics down. You know where the balance point is and you know how to float. Now, how do you go into the wheelie practice, a longer practice? Well, here's the float in a... Okay, so how do you go from that into riding a wheelie? You just get comfortable continuously pedaling. So we'll pop up and then you just start pedaling. Now the difference to keep the wheelie going is if you look over here, I'm basically just tapping my brake and modulating how high I am. Again, there's a few things that are gonna happen all at once. This is the next big step from just feeling that balance point, feeling that float point. I'm gonna pull up. You will see my finger constantly feathering over here. So I'm gonna pull up and very light touches. I'm just touching enough to keep me from flipping backwards. But if you notice, I'm continuously pedaling with my feet. That doesn't stop because I need to keep the front wheel up. So the front wheel stays up because I'm pedaling, and what keeps me from falling backwards is tapping that rear brake lever there. So it's just a balance between pedaling harder and tapping your brake. So I never pull up without one finger or two on the brake. My rule of thumb, one finger if it's a disc brake, two finger if it's cable pull. Just because I need enough to squeeze to keep me from going backwards. So pedal, float, and then you can just start pedaling. This will help you kind of get used to going slow and feeling a balance point. Let's move into some advanced things that you can think about while you're wheeling. Once you kind of have like some distance down, if you are running into what we talked about earlier where you pedal fast, it's just because you're slow like this. You'll see me take off, go faster. It's because my front wheel wasn't high enough. I wasn't in a true balance point. So if you find yourself down here, pull up a little more, trust your brakes, you will balance better. So that's how you combat. I'm pedaling and I'm just going forward faster and faster. Let yourself go back a bit, trust your brakes, you'll be good. And then once you kind of start feeling it, a lot of people say look at like parking stall lines if you're practicing in a parking lot. Practice like car lengths, pedal lengths. I tell you, just have fun. Think about, was that a fun wheelie? Doesn't matter how far it was, just was it fun? Did I float? Did I feel that sensation that gets me stoked? Do it again, do it longer. That's really what it comes down to. I wish there was like some secret magic. Oh, you do this at the next one. It's not. It's really just getting pedal time, getting comfortable with it, and just continuously riding. Some advanced stuff you can do later on, no feet. I'll throw in here. That's a lot of fun to do. It does require that you get very, very comfortable being back, because you're not pedaling to maintain and keep your wheel up. So that's a little difficult. And then the other one is just a one-hander. And the one-hander is really, once you're in that float, you really can take your hand off, because I'm no longer, it's my feet that are keeping my handlebars up, not my hands or my grip. So that's why you can ride without the hand. The other thing you can do is, if you start to get tired, I'll go underhand grip like this, which will then relieve a lot of the stress that you feel on your forearm. So you can go underhand. You can grab your frame down here. Looks kind of cool. But have fun with it. Go ride your bikes. Do long wheelies. Do it for you. There's no trophies in this anymore. So there's no race to get to the finish line and be the first one. Just have fun with it. Enjoy the process. I started relearning wheelies about 6 years ago. So that puts it in perspective. I hope it does. Don't expect to learn this overnight. Just enjoy the process. See you guys.